The markets appear to be bouncing back since the Fed says they have infinite cash. Will this prompt a run back over $90,000 Bitcoin? Crypto payment adoptions are moving slowly, perhaps due to security concerns. And is the US allowed to sell gold holdings to buy crypto, paving a zero tax method for acquiring Bitcoin? It seems we always have questions like what's the deal with the buzz around the Great Pyramids of Giza? Is there a previous civilization hiding there in Egypt, or is it all a bunch of hokum? We'd be a bunch of hokum if it weren't for the fact that there's just two of us. You need several to be hokum. Us? Well, we're just bad. And this is our bad news, episode number 770 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
Welcome, friends and foes, but I don't think we have any foes. Like, we're so
They already
lovable.
stopped tuning in long ago.
Yeah. But come back. Be our friends. We love
Yeah.
everybody.
We miss you.
We at the Bad Crypto Podcast have a big tent. It's a massive, large tent, and we're kind of like the Hard Rock Cafe. Love all, serve all.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Well, that's good. So let's get into it, folks. How about we talk about some news?
The news. All right. Well, let me pull up the crypto market cap here on the Gecko of Coins and see.
Looking good. It's looking good. Are we almost? Oh my God, we're almost at $3 trillion.
We're
Man.
almost back to 3 trillion.
Yeah.
2.984 trillion is the market cap. Bitcoin just under 87,903, up 8% this last week. Ethereum up 10% at 2065. XRP up 10%. 246. BNB holding steady 631. Solana up 18% this week to 145, and that might have something to do with Fidelity filing for a Solana ETF. Dogecoin just under 20 cents. Cardano 75, and number 10 this week is Tron at just shy of 23 cents.
Who sucked the most ass this week in the top 100?
Pi Network. Pi is like Pi came out at like $2 a token, and of course this is something people have been mining for years on their phone, waiting for the opportunity to cash out. And boy, the hoops you have to jump through to KYC with them, I wasn't even able to do it for the 80 Pi that I mined, but it's struggled this week. And some other coins.
That's really the only one that struggled this week. This has been a really good week in crypto. The biggest winners, Barachain. Now, Barachain, this is a multi-billion-dollar token just waiting. They've built and built and built, and they just cracked into the top 100 with a 40% increase this past week. That's huge. Bonk up 36%. Render, that's another AI project. That's popping back up over 2 billion. Chronos, look at all these projects up over 20%. AVAX up 25%. Could we do something? Let's sort the coins real quick by market cap.
I can do that. There we
and
go.
Scroll all the way down. How many?
You want to see how many are over a billion?
How many are over a billion?
All right, we're going. We're going.
There we go.
Almost all of them. 93 in the top 100 are over a billion now.
That's good. The most I saw was 117. I think were in the top. Were worth more than a billion, so it went down a little bit, and then it went down to about 70 something. So now it's back up to 93. So this is a good indicator. Look at those charts over on the right, up, up, up. How fearful and greedy are people this week, Joel?
That's a good question, Sir. Hello, Travis. Let's check it out. We are looking at 34 fear. This is wrong. It's saying last week was 80 extreme greed. I feel like the market sentiment meter here on CoinStats is not updating properly, because last week fear was like in the red zone.
Yeah, it was like 19 or 20 or something.
Yeah, this is inaccurate here. Hey, guys at CoinStats.app, fix your app. Or it's not really an app. It's just pretty colors. So the reasons why this is happening this week. So apparently the Fed has said that they have infinite cash.
Well, that's what they said in 2020, right?
Right. Well, they do, right?
Yeah.
They do. They can print as much fiat currency
Mhm.
as they want to print.
They said the
And
quiet part out loud. And I wasn't supposed to say that.
right.
Yeah. And so if you look at this, since the Minneapolis Fed president, Neil Kashkari, his name is Kashkari. And in 2020, he said that, the Fed has infinite cash, which at that point, Bitcoin in 2020 had tumbled down to like what, 3,800, $4,000, something like that.
Mhm.
And then everybody was going, oh my God, it's crashing. And then they come out and say, oh, we have infinite cash. And that since then has sparked a huge growth, up 1,300% since then. So it's huge. It just goes to show that the staying power of Bitcoin. How many times has it died? It's died so many times, but it always gets over long enough. You scroll back far enough, it always goes up and to the right. You guys.
Mm-hmm. And Trump spoke at a digital asset summit this last week, and he again doubled down on the U.S. becoming a Bitcoin superpower, and he criticized the Biden administration's regulatory stance on cryptos. And of course, the SEC is dismissing all of these cases and basically unleashing innovation and all this bemoaning that we did about, hey, you're stifling innovation, you're chasing it offshore, it's still going to happen, it's just not going to happen here. All of a sudden, there's this giant sucking sound of business and commerce and innovation coming back to these United States of America.
Yeah, and it's not I wouldn't lean this directly on President Trump's shoulders. I would lean this on his sons, right? Barron included, Eric huge into crypto, Don Jr. huge into crypto, and they were just like, Dad. Once their bank, whoever was the bank of Trump organization, debanked them.
Mm-hmm.
When that happened, they all realized, oh my God, decentralized banking. This needs to, how are they going to say Kanye West can't have a bank account with us? How are they going to say Donald Trump organization can't have a bank account with us? Like, that's crazy to say, basically politically crucify someone and debank them. And so I think that the debanking of them really sort of created this new prosperity that we'll be seeing during this administration, I would suggest.
And I tend to agree with you. We've got Bitcoin now setting its sights on spoofy 90K resistance, but major resistance. Why are they calling it spoofy? What does that mean?
What the hell does that even mean? That sounds like
it's spoofy because it's signaling it, but it's not yet happening. Let's look here. Typically, April is let's see, March has typically been good in the more recent years, and here we are. We've got this year a green month, a big red month, and a small green month. So could this be bounce back month? Because if you look here from 2017 to 2020, up 30 something percent each year, but not quite as strong in the years that follow. Is there a pattern here?
Let's do what they did in 2017 because that looks pretty good to me. Let's just have green up until September. I'm good with that. Let's just do that.
And then September was just down 7%.
I like that. Let's do that one. I choose that one. Who do I vote?
I will cast my vote. That was a hell of a bull run year. If we look at 2021, the last time we had the big run, that was right there leading into here 2020, right there, up 42%, up 46% at the end of the year, leading into 2021. And then it got really sad in May. Wah, wah.
But then it popped again. Remember, it did that little and then it went and then it did the and then it did the Remember?
So there's
That's the sound of the charts. If you listen, I'm a chart whisperer.
So sound of the charts. What did you call it?
The sound of the charts when you take a chart.
So there's been pledges that that our crypto czar David Sachs and his team are looking at ways to acquire more Bitcoin that would be tax neutral, right? Mm-hmm. It wouldn't cost the U.S. citizens anything else. And so the question they're looking at now is, are we allowed to sell gold to buy Bitcoin? um, allowed. I don't know. It's a budget neutral way to do it. We've had gold as a sovereign store of value. I don't think have we seen Fort Knox yet? They haven't.
They haven't said that. So here's what it says, which is interesting. Revaluing gold certificates.
Mhm.
So if it's gold certificates, yeah, dump those fucking things. That's not gold. That's gold certificates. That's not physical in my mind. When I read this, or when I went through that whole exchange stabilization fund, sort of the concept behind that, revaluing the gold certificates. Now, for those who've been paying attention these last few years, if you so every ounce of gold, I believe, I don't remember which one it is. But silver has like
200.
500 ounces of paper silver, and
Yeah.
gold has like 200, 250 paper ounces to every one physical ounce. So really, it should be recalibrated in a big way. Gold should be recalibrated like 200, 250 to 1, which would mean 1 ounce of gold is worth a shitload.
Well, look at this. So the U.S. Treasury has around 8,000 tons of gold near a 1973 rate of $42 per ounce. By reissuing its gold certificates to reflect current market rates at $3,000 per ounce, the Treasury would recognize over $700 billion in gains that could be used to acquire Bitcoin. I mean, would that not be the most bullish move that we could possibly see? Is for the U.S. to go, okay, we're how much Bitcoin could you buy with 700 billion?
Scroll back down. So so the gold reserves are sitting at a price of $42 an ounce when the real world value of it is $3,050 an ounce. What is that? Why is that? That doesn't even make any sense to me. Oh, here's the price of what gold was then. Here's our 8,000 ounces of gold at $42. Like, why is that even a number? That makes zero sense to me.
I'm asking Grok to do some math for me here. And you could buy at today's Bitcoin price with 700 billion. Let's see here. Come on, just give me an answer. 6,892 Bitcoin. Well, that's at a price of 101. So it would be it'd be more than 7,000 Bitcoin.
That's not accurate, because we're talking $700 billion. And you mean to tell me that Michael Saylor has, $100 trillion worth of Bitcoin? That's not accurate.
Grok is failing.
That's a Grok.
I'm gonna tell it, do the math right. Do the math right, Grok. Okay, let's see if we get a better.
Well, because dude just bought like 7,000 more Bitcoin for less than $1 billion.
Yeah, this doesn't seem well. It's saying at $87,000 per Bitcoin, it's 8,000 Bitcoin. So maybe I'll have to get my calculator out to figure that out. But the point is that the U.S. can buy Bitcoin for the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve without congressional authorization, at least according to this article on Protos.
Wait a second. So how much is Bitcoin's market cap right now? It's like 1.7 trillion, right? So that should tell me that you could probably, in theory, buy, 8 million Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's got to be. There's got to be another zero on there.
Yeah,
at least another zero. Thanks, Grok. Thanks, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Thanks for screwing up our show.
You just made our show bad.
I'm going to go key.
Bad to worse.
I'm going to go key a Tesla now.
Oh, man. I'm going to go key too.
Can you believe these idiots out there keying Teslas like on camera and not realizing these are felony charges?
Well, what's dumb is that most likely a liberal owns that Tesla,
right,
and it's already paid for, and it doesn't do anything to Elon Musk. And, realistically, you dive behind that and you're going to see probably Act Blue, or you're going to see, U.S. aid, somehow one of those government NGOs funding those things. That's how it happens. Did you see the big AOC and Bernie Sanders sort of big 34,000 people they said were there?
Yeah,
well, they did the triangulation of the cell phones that were there. There were 21,000 cell phones in that area or whatever. And of those, like 19,000 of them have been to multiple Kamala events, which basically they just bust them all in.
Yeah. Paid. protesters.
That's it.
Anyway, crypto adoption we thought would maybe take place a little faster than it has, but according to a survey of the peoples that responded to this particular survey, amongst Gen Z, Gen X, and millennials, many are concerned about security, about hacks and phishing scams, which are legitimate, right? People don't understand how to avoid those things, and to know that, if they're being scammed, then security issues are definitely a problem. So we need better security and better education, I think, for people to trust crypto over fiat.
And that is exactly why I built coinresearch.ai with a really smart team, is because people don't understand what's going on. Most people who are coming into crypto, these sort of, what I'm calling them, the E-Trade babies and the Motley Fools, the Gen X and the boomers that have been big on the stock market, and they're easing in. They're the ones with most of the money, but they're coming into crypto with a coiner level 0 knowledge. And Satoshi Nakamoto is a coiner level 9. But if you're not a coiner level 2 or a 3, in theory, you're going to become somebody else's exit liquidity. And so, matter of fact, Joel, we just got V1 finished. And so now that is ready to rock and roll. Really excited about this. Proud of this thing, man. Our team is so good. Gotten to the point where, didn't want to talk about it too much until we got to a point, and wasn't trying to raise funds until it became a thing, because wanted to not so much to speak it into existence, build it into existence, and then level it up. So it really have that educational side of it, the front end of it, helping people understand and to trade smarter. But there's also a coaching and training component behind the scenes, which takes in the ethos of bad crypto that we've been doing over these last 8 years.
This episode brought to you by coinresearch.ai. You guys go check it out. Coinresearch.ai. Good job on that.
Brought to you by Travis and his amazing team.
Yeah. While you're a fundraiser, I'm a fundraiser. I'm out there trying to raise a good time. Massachusetts Secretary of State's not happy about Robinhood offering sports-related event prediction market contracts, particularly because of the way they say that they are presenting it to people, that the advertising for how to play in the markets might be deceptive, blah, blah, blah. Maybe a mass hole. I don't know.
Probably a mass hole. But let's give a shout out here, because sports betting and AI and crypto is something that I think is taking the world by storm. And we're in the really early phases of that. There's so much data out, and man, to be able to pull all the sports data in, put AI on top of it. So Stacy Sport has built a neural net engine that basically pulls in all of this data and does predictive modeling on the picks. And they're shooting for 70+% accuracy on these bets, Joel. And they did a pink sale last week, which you think trying to launch something now at this time is a horrible time. But dude, they sold out their pink sale in 12 hours. So sports betting and AI and crypto is something I think that's a narrative we're going to be hearing a lot about. And so Stacy Sport, thank you for jumping on and helping sponsor the show. We appreciate you guys.
Stacy.ai, STAICY.ai is where you can check it out.
AI has got it going on.
We got a couple Trump stories in here related to crypto. One of the reasons that Kronos, which is the token of crypto.com, has moved significantly this week is that Trump media wants to partner with crypto.com for ETFs. And so this is TMTG, Trump Media Technology Group, which owns Truth Social. And they are, Devin Nunes is wanting to work to create inventive funds incorporating firms that concentrate on rapid growth, technological innovation, and strengthening the U.S. economy. So that's one thing that's moving some of the markets, at least.
There you go. Moving markets. And yeah, I do think these ETFs are popping off. We knew that once Bitcoin got approved, then Ethereum was going to be next. And then we sort of said, what's after that? Solana. Now, I don't know. I look at Solana and I kind of go, we just had a big space. I just finished before this call. And talking about Solana, there's not a lot of enterprises going to be building on Solana. It's not a permission it's a permissionless, and it's I don't think it's as secure as other ones. So we're going to start seeing more permissioned blockchains popping up, but not a lot of people are going to be using Solana. I think these meme coins went, so let's see how the usage of Solana goes now that the meme coin market's kind of died down.
TBD. Also, Trump's crypto project, World Liberty Financial, has launched a stablecoin and BNB chain, USD1. Currently, wasn't tradable as of March 4th. It's actually not tradable as of now, so I guess it's still coming. A total supply of more than 3.5 million to get started with that. What else we got going here? Oh, more SEC saying, hey, we're okay here. The U.S. has lifted sanctions on Tornado Cash. This was another one that drove markets down, right? When the U.S. Treasury said, hey, you guys can't be doing this. You're laundering money through this, and we're not happy about it, so we're going to file suit against you. Well, they've pretty much lifted the sanctions on that. They exercised their discretion once upon a time, and they made it illegal for Americans or U.S. businesses to transact with it. And I guess that they're still concerned about threats of hacks from North Korea, but they are no longer sanctioning.
No longer sanctioning. So we're seeing a whole lot of this, right? With XRP in the clear, some of these other ones. But you know what? Realistically, a lot of investors were hurt by the SEC being kind of overly, douchebaggy, right? I mean, I know that I think I would be in a totally different space had the SEC not gone after Dragon Chain like they did. When they went after Dragon Chain, I had a nice portfolio that I was building up in Dragon Chain, and then the SEC came after them. That thing went from like almost $5 a token, honk, down to like 5 cents in relative short order. If you go look at the what happened with Dragon Chain, and dude, they were dudes who were building a blockchain with Disney, and then they just brought in the head of payments from Starbucks, and they were built up there in Seattle, bringing in people from Microsoft, like an amazing team. The SEC said, "No, we don't like you." And
I don't know if they're still doing anything. The website is still live at dragonchain.com.
Yeah, their Telegram's still rolling. They're still doing some stuff. Yeah, Joe's over there, but the website is not as cool as it probably could be.
No. Real quickie right here. The SEC was encouraged to sue Elon Musk over Twitter stock ownership disclosure, and then the SEC has said, nope, we're not going to sue him. Instead, we're going to key all your Teslas. No,
Right. All right. Well, there we go. There's some news there.
Yeah, there you go.
Dogecoin Foundation's a new corporate arm has launched the Doge Reserve with 10 million tokens. 10 million tokens in Doge is not that much, actually. That's only like about $1.8 million. Yeah.
1.8 million. I mean, that's a lot to me. Is that not a lot to you?
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, dude. I remember when Dogecoin was like 0.00000. So like 10 million Dogecoin doesn't. Dude, I never thought Dogecoin was going to get to a penny, dude. I always laughed. I was like, dude, it does. But I should have been thinking like a 4chaner. I should have been thinking like a degenerate, and I should have known Dogecoin is clearly going to do something, and I should have been stacking it. Instead, I just ignored it, dude. Matter of fact, my wallet I had, whatever I had in it, I lost that. So I was like,
well, if it goes to $1, I mean, then still a good time. It's just under 20 cents right now, and they are memeing it to $1. So we'll see if they can actually.
Dude, it'll probably eventually get to $1. I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years it's $10. I mean, it's just insane to think about, but that's what degenerates do.
So, what is this story about here? Our producer found traders speculate about mystery crypto exec behind alleged $10 billion divorce. And I guess Justin Sun is helping to find out who this is. Between you and I really don't care.
Well, he's offered assistance to one party in the divorce. Well, here's the deal. There's the crypto executive's got $10 billion in assets. He's going through a divorce, and it looks like the Mrs. Crypto executive probably going to get about 5 billion of that. But and you know that executive's like, how do I hide it? How do I move it around? I don't want to give it to this bitch. You know, probably always thinking. I assume it's a he.
Can you say that in Chinese?
I
Because that's
just
where this
gendered
is.
them. I apologize for gendering them.
If you said it in Chinese, it would be more on par with the market. So this last story here, Trev, is really just interesting. I'm sure you've seen this week the story claiming that there are structures underneath the Giza plateau that go 2 kilometers deep that makes it look like a power plant or some civilization that the Egyptians didn't actually build the pyramids.
Right. Yeah. So it basically talks about these huge columns that have some sort of, it looks like maybe a wire or it's a staircase or something that rolls down. They don't know what that is.
Looks like a Tesla coil.
You know, it does kind of look like a Tesla coil of some sort. And there's been conversations for, I don't know, I've been down the rabbit hole for years where it says that the pyramids were actually some sort of energy generation device. And if the theories are correct and they have those columns that are connected to those big solid red granite at the very bottom of it, there's no way humans did that, or not with technology that we know. So what they're saying, Snopes, which I don't usually trust, other Egyptologists are saying we haven't found any evidence to support that. However, most Egyptian archaeologists, they will never say anything beyond the official story. They're always going to deny that. They say, no, 6,000 years ago is the only time this was created because that's what is aligned with our religion. So even though that the Sphinx is probably at least 12,000 years old because it has all those water marks on it, you know what I mean? It's like there's no way that the Sphinx and the pyramids are around the same age because there's no watermark. You can literally see the water markings of all the rain that had happened on the Sphinx. And so there's something that we don't know the true story, but the official people are never going to come out and say, oh yeah, this is true.
No, they're calling them they're calling them experts here that are saying, the article's not peer reviewed or something not right here, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to have people that disagree, and you guys can go down the rabbit hole yourselves.
And they're not even going to research it, dude. They're not going to drill a hole underneath and try to see and find it. They're going to say, nope, it's incorrect. And then people will forget about it and think, oh, it's all a hoax.
You could go to badco.in/770 and read the article for yourself. When I was in Egypt a couple of years ago, Trav, I had to take pictures of the Sphinx, and then I had to go around to the back side of it and take pictures. Do you know why?
Because you wanted to see its butt?
I wanted to see its sphinxter. I literally told Aaron,
oh my God, dude. I've never seen a
of
picture of the sphinxter.
The sphinxter. Yeah, it's just
my God. Only
back,
Joel will do that.
That's butt of the.
I applaud you. That's nice.
Thank you, good. The butt of the Sphinx.
That is good.
The butt of the Sphinx has spoken.
Yeah. Had a great conversation. Great news. News is happening that looks nice. Positive stuff is happening in the crypto world. Hitting that 3 trillion, hitting 3 trillion. That to me is a good indicator, Joel. 3 trillion is always an indicator. I was like, oh man, I hope we don't drop below 3 trillion. Oh, we did, down to 2.7 trillion. And so let's get back over 3 trillion and then hit 4 trillion, 5 trillion. I'd really like to hit 5 trillion this cycle.
Again, all of the signs are posting to this being a great year and a great future for Bitcoin and crypto, and a great year for you guys. I'm just going to call it here right now because, every day is an opportunity, and we want you to carpe all of the DMs we do here at the Republic of Bad Cryptopia. Sir Lord Travis, I appreciate you as we're coming up on our 8th anniversary here in just a few months.
I appreciate you as well. I want to thank you for all these fine years, and I want to thank all the people who have tuned in as we have helped you all, round trip generational wealth multiple times as crypto goes up and crypto goes down. Remember to take some wins and some profits along the way. That's always crucial. And,
never a bad idea. And if you're going to remember one thing, it's that you need to stay bad. Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.